Got to be a lot of pressure on Bernie to get in this car with the success that some of these Joe Gibbs drivers have had in that thing. He's got to jump in there and try to match results with those guys. It's kind of tough.
Yeah, it looks like he's fighting a little bit of a loose situation there. He got passed kind of on the inside and outside. Fell back a little bit. Vince?
Well, he's been Bernie Lamar in that 32, feeling a little bit of pressure coming into this race because the team was second in points. Brian Vickers had 3 top 8 finishes in the first 3 races. Lamar said certainly there's pressure following Vickers' performance, but with a good run of his own, he feels like it would be a positive feeling around the team. And as you see, currently 15th, having a good, steady run. He'll run 21 races this season. It's his first NASCAR nationwide race this time around. What a way to get your feet wet, huh, at Bristol. And coming off the birth of his little girl, CL, with his wife, Nikki. So a very happy couple of weeks for Bernie Lamar.
He is doing a great job under a lot of pressure, especially coming to Bristol.
Yeah, there's just nothing easy about coming here at all and get in the race. And as I said, he hadn't been in the car for a while, so he's doing a really good job. And you're trying to get the feel of that back, and at a place like this, that things happen so quickly.
Kevin Harvick now easing in on the 60 car of Carl Edwards. That would be for the 2nd spot.
Definitely put some pressure on Carl, and that 18 car is not too far ahead of these 2 guys.
Yeah, I think that's the key, Andy, is Kyle Busch hasn't gotten far away from these guys, so we're going to have a 3-car race here shortly.
For just joined our coverage, 209 of 300 laps are down here at Bristol, Tennessee. We have had 7 different leaders, 11 lead changes. We've had 8 caution flags for a total of 45 laps. And now Kevin Harvick trying to move on the inside. Just can't get it to grab the racetrack.
You know what Harvick is looking for is a long run right here. If he can get a lot of green flag laps, his car really comes around in these long runs.
That goes back to Kevin Harvick being a really good chassis guy, knowing his race car and being able to get a setup in there that'll go be sufficient on restarts, but really go as we get a lot of laps run here under green flag conditions.
And that's a big trade-off sometimes when you're talking about setting the car up. You want to try to have a car good in the long runs, but you never know how these races, especially Bristol, will go. And typically there are a lot of short runs. And if you don't get a long run, you got a good long run car, then you can't use it.
Can you adjust the car? They're going to probably get at least one more shot on pit road. Can you make a change to make it more of a short run car?
Oh yeah, you can make a lot of changes to do that. But I think once you kind of play your hand, you want to play it all the way out.
I'd say that most of that was done that where he keeps his tires from wearing out is probably done with shock absorbers and those type things, which aren't going to be adjustable. But air pressure and a little bit of wedge out if he's starting out a little bit tight, then he can adjust things like that.
The key thing is if he's able to drive by these guys and get the lead in a long run, and then you have a caution in a short run, then that's when you want to pump those tires up, do some things that'll make it, at least crunch it for a short run car.
Good mix here, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. There's the 8th place car, Paul Menard. Behind him is Leffler, then Allgaier and Stephen Wallace.
It's a tight race right here. These guys have been racing nose to tail for quite a few laps.
They've really done a good job of staying off of each other, too, because they've run up on some lap traffic and gotten really close. And when you do that, sometimes bunches you up, could run into the back of one another and create a bad situation, but they've done a really good job of not letting that happen.
I saw Allgaier actually pass Stephen Wallace on the outside. I'm surprised he hasn't tried that a little more here. He's kind of committed back to the bottom once he got by Stephen and not being able to make much more ground.
Leaders in pretty heavy traffic. Kyle Busch able to go around the wounded car number 36 of Mark Davis. Less than 100 laps to go, 83 to be exact, here in Bristol, Tennessee. It is Kyle Busch, Carl Edwards, Kevin Harvick, Matt Kenseth, and Brad Keselowski.
76 laps to go in the Scotts Turf Builder 300, the NASCAR Nationwide Series in Thunder Valley, Bristol Motor Speedway in Tennessee. There's your race leader, Kyle Busch. Kyle has been out in front for 138 of the 2 1/4 that we have run so far. Now, just before we went to the break, we saw the leaders putting a lap on Jason Keller. Here's a car that started 3rd, but he finds himself back in 29th spot, 4 laps down. Shannon, what happened?
Well, Alan, I think that was also Dale Jarrett's sleeper for today's race. It's been such an eventful day. About lap 91, the team realized that they were down a cylinder. They've been on and off pit road since. They say the car is making so much noise, but they are keeping their spirits high. In fact, Jason Keller asked his crew chief, "Can you issue said, yeah, I've heard some stock cars at the local dirt track sound better. Alan?
And it's hard to hear anything down there at Bristol, especially when something's not going right. That can be tough to diagnose. Now, with one set of pit stops still to go, what are they saying in some of these front runners' pits? Getting ready for that final stop. Nationwide takes you up to speed. Mike Massaro has the leader's pit. That's Kyle Busch's group. Mike?
Well, Alan, Kyle obviously has a very strong car, but that does not mean they're without concern. Take a look at this tire. This is the right rear. Their first set. It came off at lap 192. It's worn all the way around to the cords. Now, the following pit stops have revealed that the tire wear has been much better, but Jason Ratcliffe still very concerned, especially about left side tire wear. They do not want to see this race come down to a long green flag run. Dave?
Well, Carl Edwards in the 60 car in second place, and the crew is telling him, hang in there, you're doing great. You're better in traffic than the 18, and the 18 is coming back to you. Carl says he's still a little bit tight in the center. If they have to come again, they'll make a track bar adjustment. Kevin Harvick in the 33 is running third. Harvick loves these long runs. He says in his case the tires are better the longer they run. Ernie Cope a little bit concerned about it. Kevin maybe leaning on that right rear a little bit too much. But right now Kevin Harvick is quite pleased with his car. Shannon?
Matt Kenseth is a three-time winner here at this track, so he knows what kind of car he needs to get to victory lane. Right now, the word from the 16 car is loose. That is what it's been all day long. He said if a yellow comes out, they will come down pit road to try to tighten it up a little bit. Dave?
And Keselowski runs right there in that bright green car, looking for a way around Kenseth, reporting that his car's a little loose up off right now. He wanted one of those long runs that you guys have been talking about, and Alan, looks like he's getting it here, trying to make progress forward.
All right, David, so that's the stories from some of the leaders' pits. In fact, the top five's pits, again, as if we see the caution flag, we expect to see them all on pit road. So Kyle Busch leading, Carl Edwards, Kevin Harvick, Matt Kenseth, and Brad Keselowski. 66 laps to go here in Thunder Valley. Which one of those drivers is going to drive up onto that roof and hold the big trophy at the end of these 300 laps?